What's up, guys? Welcome back to Task Force Offroad. My name is George. If you haven't been here, this is my 2018 Jeep Wrangler, and today we're installing the High10 or High10 from Stinger Offroad. This is the first kind of like, I don't want to say the first useless upgrade I've ever done, because like this gets a lot of good functionality out of it, but like overly cosmetic that was really expensive as opposed to like performance style upgrades. So we're gonna get this guy installed hopefully by the end of today. So this comes in two boxes. We have the integration installation kit, which is for the JL Wrangler JT Gladiator. So in theory, I could put this in my brother-in-law's Gladiator if I wanted to. And it comes with the High10 itself. This is a 10-inch high definition screen, but we're gonna get more into that once it's already installed. So sit back, relax, enjoy, stay tuned, hit the like button, subscribe, and share the video. Alright, so this is my first time opening it and looking at it, and we're going to take a look at what's in these boxes. So here we have user's manual, it looks like, and then it looks like we have a lot, and I mean a lot, of wiring harnesses. This is going to be fun, guys. This is going to be a lot of fun. So it looks like we have our dash, some of the dash pieces, radio installation adapter. We have a speaker so we don't lose our chimes when the radio isn't fully booted up yet, so this will come into play as well. More wiring harnesses. Okay, so anything you see online does not do this justice. I will say this is going to match up with the bezel around the climate control gauges really, really nicely. I'm kind of excited to see how well it matches up with the Jeep. So it's going to be like that. These two screws will be on the bottom, and that's what you're going to see. This screen is huge, guys. So we're going to put this back in this foam so it doesn't get dirty. This should be the actual unit itself. Oh man, that is a lot of foam. Alright, so it appears we have the brain, some sort of bracketry. Guys, this screen is an iPad. Oh my, that's awesome. That's going to go back into the foam for now for protection. And what is in this box? So we have this magnetic piece. This is for the GPS unit, I'm pretty sure. A ton of wiring harnesses. Well, let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is assemble this mounting bracket. So there's a part number at the top here, and that's going to be the top. Alright, and now these are labeled right hand and left hand. So it's going to be a part number and then LH, and a part number and then RH. So right hand, left hand, left hand. And then these little wings are going to go towards the inside. So it's going to look like that. And they actually key right into place. So we're going to go ahead and screw that in with the provided screws. Again, just be careful, it is just plastic. So now we're going to find our Radio Pro Advanced module, which is going to be this one right here. So this is the Radio Pro Advanced radio adapter. So this is actually going to plug in like that. And we're going to use 4 of the zip ties provided. So I'm definitely not sure I like this. I know the JL and JT, the dash is really, really tight, so they're kind of probably making do with what they have. And zip ties are honestly going to be more than enough secure for a radio support bezel thing. But I feel like it's kind of an afterthought if you're using zip ties to mount something, you know? But that's just me. Alright, and that is how that's going to look. So now, we're going to take this little guy, the packed link system, and some of the double-sided tape that's provided in the kit. And this is actually just going to get mounted with double-sided tape to the front, like so. So I'm going to do that now. So the key here is keeping everything nice and compact because it's such a tight space under the JL dash. And that is why everything is zip-tied together, 3M taped together. But you're going to look like that. Now it's time to install our brain. And I must say, the quality of this stuff, guys, it is top-notch. I'm very impressed. So, the way you hold this is you have the navigation SIM card slot there, Sirius XM. That's going to face the top, and it's just going to slide right in place from the bottom, probably. Yeah, and it's going to sit on the back. Alright, so now we're just going to take the 4 screws, the countersunk ones that we didn't use when assembling this bracket, and screw this guy into place. Once they're started, you can just go ahead and drill them in. Alright, now definitely since this was mounted in with zip ties, I had to like kind of push on this to get it perfectly aligned up, but worked out perfectly fine, and now that is what our unit looks like currently. Alright, now we're dealing with the most fun part, the wiring harness. So this is our main wiring harness. We're going to start here. What's nice, what Stinger did, is they labeled literally everything with a little label maker, making it super, super easy and dumbed down for just anyone to be able to do it. What we're looking for here is radio, and it's going to be a 16 pin and a 10 pin harness, and I'll show you guys that when I found it. So we have 16 pin radio, and next to it should be 10 pin radio. So we have these 2 harnesses. The 10 pin goes in the bottom left spot of all those white little pin connectors. Alright, so now we're looking for a 12 pin connector that's going to go into our Radio Pro Advanced module. It is going to be for amplified or non-amplified radios. Mine is amplified because I have a subwoofer. Non-amplified should be the second one. Amplified should be the first one, according to Stinger's instructions. Indexed in, perfect. Alright, so this twisted connection with the braids is going to come through the same way and plug into the middle of the Radio Pro Advanced module. Then our power connector that has our inline fuse is going to come up and plug in at the top of the module up here. There we go. That one's tight to get in. So the power one with the fuse goes in that top piece right there. Now this large connector, probably like a 24 or something like that pin, is going to come through and plug in on the opposite side here. Kind of a bear to plug in these connectors, I'll be very honest with you guys. There we go. Alright, now there's a small braided harness that's yellow that's labeled Pack Link, and I'm just going to plug into that Pack Link unit. And that is going to connect right into here like so. So now we're going to get this harness that comes with the Stinger unit. It comes with a bunch of RCA cables, and we're going to find the one that is OEM aux in. Okay, it doesn't say OEM aux in, but it says aux in, so that might be it. Okay, now this bit's a little bit confusing because we have our OEM aux audio and then our aux in, which is where it's supposed to go, but we have also this other yellow RCA connection that's here. This only has red and white, so you do need to plug in this red and white after reading the instructions more thoroughly. So remove the black caps, plug those guys in, and I do not know what the yellow one's for, guys. But that's where I'm at right now. Hopefully it's just one of these guys that we have to plug in to it, but as of right now I don't know. And this is for aftermarket speakers, stereos, all that other stuff. So for now I'm probably not going to be using this, but in the future, in case I want to, it is here. So after we make those RCA connections, this plugs into the back of the Stinger unit in this black spot right here. Plugged in, it goes right there. Now there's 2 microphones in the Stinger unit. It comes with an external one, and that comes with a 4-pin harness that would plug into the Stinger unit itself. I'm going to use the internal microphone. I hate the look of the external mics just kind of chilling there. They haven't made them small enough. They're kind of an eyesore. They're not for me. So now we need this 6-pin connector, and this is going to have our steering wheel controls. It's labeled really weird, so look for the 6-pin connector with the 2 RCA lines attached to it. And that's going to get plugged into our Stinger. So it's going to get plugged in right here. So there's a black cable comb on the back of this 12 pin that goes next to the 6 pin that makes it kind of a bear putting the 6 pin in. Put the 6 pin in first and then the 12. But it goes there. Okay, so now in this harness we have the one labeled SWI, which is our steering wheel input. And then we have another one labeled steering wheel control. Steering wheel control. It's going to be this black aux cable looking thing. And again, guys, planning the way you route things it's going to be key in this install. Alright, we're going to take our smaller of the 2 10-pin connection cables, not tables. One's going to be 6 inches, one will be 18 inches. Big difference. This is going to go into the Pack Link in either of the 10-pin connection cable spots. And then once it is in the pack link, the other end is going to go into the Radio Pro Advanced module. Like so, into this final, not final spot, but one of the final two spots. Alright, so now we're using the other 10-pin connector, the 18-inch one, and we're going to put it into that other spot in the pack link that we didn't use. Again, it doesn't really matter which one we used. And then we're going to fish it through the back here. And it's going to plug into our HD camera retention module, into one of the two spots labeled pack link. Alright, so now we're going to flip all of this upside down so we can get to our USB and our LVDS power. I might be butchering that, but that's what they are. So we have this cable, which is the LVDS, and it goes into this bottom black connection port. Plug that guy in. Alright, so after some digging, I found the proper USB module. It is this blue and gray cable. It comes with the Stinger kit, not with your integration kit. So that guy plugs right in. Alright, so these two cables actually are the ones going to the display. So they're going to get routed through this kit like so, and then get connected that way. Now we're going to take the HDMI cable, connect it to the HDMI out of our HD camera retention unit, and then we're going to plug it into the HDMI port on the back of our Stinger brain. Now we have the fun part of zip tying everything so it's nice and somewhat neat and organized. Not wrong, my friend. You are. Alright, so now we're going to install our screen to our bezel. And it's just going to go face down like that. And we're going to take 4 of these screws and just screw them into place.
Yeah, they seem to be in pretty tight.
Alright. And now we're just going to keep this in a nice safe space so we don't scratch anything. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be removing inside the Jeep is this knee bolster, which we can grab from the bottom here and really just pull. It's just push pinned in. And some good pulls will release them. Alright, our next step is to remove our climate control bezel. So I like to use this corner here so I can get under it really easy. And then pry out. Once we get that out, we should be able to use just our hands. There we go. Okay, so now I want to unplug this guy and set it off to the side. We also need to unplug our start-stop switch. Alright, so now we can go ahead and use a Phillips head and unscrew this bezel. Now I can pry this up. There we go. Perfect. So now this bezel is donezo, but I'm gonna be reusing it in a different Jeep. Now we can remove the 4 other screws that are holding our radio in and unplug these factory radio connectors. Always in a pain in the butt spot. Okay, so now we need to remove our tweeter cover. That last one out. There we go. Okay, there's a tweeter cover. Put that down in the back seat right there. Alright, and now we also need to remove these little tabs here so we can then remove our 8-pillar panel. It looks like a 10 mil. We'll take those out. So I'm going to get a 10 mil and an extension. Got it out. Needed 2 hands. I went through the steering wheel. Worked. Weird, but worked. And it should come down. So 1, 2, 3. Times like these, I really wish I had a camera guy. So we're removing these T20s right here. And here. I hope you can see that. And there's 2 up here as well. Alright, now I'm also going to remove the T20 that's right here. That'll allow me to move this kind of freely. And this is all for routing of the GPS antenna. Alright, we're going to go ahead and remove our factory glove box to assist us with routing things. Now once you get this little arm detached, give it some slack, push this lever up top forward, the glove box will drop free. So we need to remove these 2 T20s to remove the back panel of our glove box. That will give us access to that USB in there. And now, you can use our panel popper tool, get it in here, and pry it back. And that separates really easy. Okay, so now I need to remove this factory USB connector. I'm gonna see if I can do it while holding the camera. There we go. Now we're gonna move this out of the way. Now we'll be plugging in their USB connector. Okay. Now we need to route this up basically to our glove box. All right, the easiest way to route this wire is gonna be to remove the two 10mm bolts that hold the center console down, and then lifting it up and fishing it through. Otherwise it's gonna be it's a huge pain in the butt and it's gonna take way too long. Once I've gotten all that wire through, I can tuck up our original USB connector and I can start feeding this through to the front. You can even use your plastic trim tool to push the wire up into place where need be. Now this is 1,000,000% one of the more tedious parts. Now that the back half of this is all ran, I'm gonna put these two bolts back in on each side and then re-clip this back bezel. I'm gonna continue feeding this up until it's in the glove box. Now from here, I'll be able to get it where it needs to be. Now, we're gonna use our CAN bus connectors. And this is where our factory CAN bus is. Now, we have green that goes into the white harness here. You see all these harnesses are green, and then white to white. If you have empty spaces, we can just plug this in wherever, it doesn't matter. If we don't have empties, that's why they come with T harnesses or pigtails. So, I have plenty of extra spaces, so we're just gonna plug this guy in. Like I said, green with green, white with white. All right, now is the fun part. So now we have to take this CAN connector and our USB and feed them behind our air vents into the dash over here where the High10 is gonna live. I misspoke, it goes in front of the air vents. And this obviously is gonna be way too much. So once I know how much we need, we're gonna bring it back down to the glove box, coil it up, zip tie it up, and make that not seen. All right guys, as you can tell, a lot has changed since the last clip. If you have a hard top, the easiest way to do this is going to be to remove it. So we need to take this magnetic plate and we're going to put it on the inside right next to our speaker. That way we'll be able to route the wire through all the plastic trim panels and then down. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see this because I have a sunshade on and I don't want to take the entire sunshade off. But you should kind of get the picture. It's 3M. This magnetic piece is 3M taped down. And then we trace the wires back. Once we get to the point where I can trace the wires back, I'll bring you back. Now at this point I can go ahead and start reinstalling all of the screws that I took out of the trim pieces. Alright, so now that we got all that stuff screwed back in, we're going to install our chime module. It comes with this bracket installed. I took the bracket apart already to make my life a little bit easier. So, what we're going to do is ensure it's going to go on the right way. And now most Jeeps will have this bracket here with these two 8mm bolts in there. So we're going to just use one of those holes to mount that up. I'm going to use this right one and we're going to get that going. So we're just going to reuse this bolt. If not, you'll have an empty hole here. Now that that's in, we're going to take our chime module and our GPS and the pain in the butt part of start snaking it up through this dash. If you have a dash snake, it'll make your life a lot easier. I don't have a dash snake, so I'm having fun. And that's how you makeshift the dash snake. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, now that we got all this handled, we can go ahead and grab our bench materials and we can get this thing wrapped up. All right, we can start with our AM/FM antenna adapter that's going to plug into this white connector. It's tight fit. Our USB adapter plugs into our USB connector, and that's going to get plugged into the top USB port on our Stinger unit. The other USB goes to the bottom. That's a start. Now we're going to do, I know you guys can't see much of this, we are going to plug in our antenna adapter, then the GPS antenna. This red, which is our backup camera, is going to go into the HD camera retention module. It's going to go into camera 1. All right, now there's a small pigtail labeled chime right here. And now we're going to take the chime wire that we ran up and plug it into that small pigtail. Okay, so we have these two braided cables here. Now we're going to disconnect this. It's a double squeeze. And now the CAN bus that we routed up is going to plug in there. All right, now make sure nothing fell out. My USB here fell out, so I'm going to plug this guy back in. And we're also going to plug in our main vehicle harness. And then it's time to start trying to stuff this stuff in. And it's going to be a pain in the butt. So try and get it as neat as possible, guys. But I realize that's a very, very tall request.
A few moments later. One hour later.
All right, now we're finally at the point where we get to snap in the display. So, cables, plug them in. Let's function check this thing. The survey says, is it gonna turn on? Hey, there we go. It took a second to power up, that's for sure. Might have to lose my CB radio mount. Okay guys, now with that finished installed, that's gonna be all for today's video. I realize this is long, so I'm gonna do a little overview kind of thing after the fact. Once I kind of get it figured out, see if I have to get updates or anything before it works fully, all that stuff. So I'm just gonna make sure that I have it 100% squared away before I start talking to you guys about how it works and what its special features are. So that'll be a whole video in and of itself. But that is how you install the High10 or High10, however you want to call it, by Stinger Offroad. I think it looks super, super sharp in the Jeep. It's definitely not as sharp as the Alpine system, but it's also half the price. So not too bad in my opinion. So if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share. If you don't mind, the YouTube algorithm loves it. Take it easy, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, it's that first day of first grade. That cute girl, your third day. That backpack, that snapback you've had since the third grade.